guys! Welcome back to another episode of Art on a Thursday, where we get creative every single Thursday here on this channel. Because usually I don't draw characters, I thought it would be fun to try out the art style challenge and turn myself into 5 different cartoon characters. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you would like to see more fun challenges, because I really enjoyed this challenge. Before I started sketching out any cartoon character, I first looked at reference pictures to learn about all the different art styles, because usually every cartoon has its own distinct style. So the first character I'm turning myself into is from The Simpsons. The Simpsons characters not only stand out because of their yellow skin color, but also because of the curvy lines of the face, the round eyes with a dot inside, and the simple coloring. So for my character, I looked up female characters that were outside the Simpsons family, as those are designed a little bit differently and they are easier to make into your own. For example, I made the eyebrows look more similar to my own instead of just drawing a simple line. And I also I tried to add a winged eyeliner. The Simpsons characters also don't have many details, so when I was drawing my hair, I focused on the general shape and then added a few lines just to add a little bit more texture. The outlines of the characters also depend on the cartoon style, and Simpsons have a relatively thin outline. That's why I used a thin fine liner and went over my sketch once I was happy with it. But I would recommend doing that after you colored your characters, because otherwise the paint or markers might smudge the lines. And now it was time to erase the sketch and start coloring everything and make the character look more like me. So to color everything, I either use watercolors or markers. For the face, I use yellow colored watercolors and also tried to make it look like I have cheekbones by adding brown colored paint to the area, but I'm not sure if you can even see that. I think I should have used colored pencils instead. Of course, the signature red colored hair can be missing, and since you also need some signature clothes, I decided to create this flower pattern blouse that I wear all the time. Here I used some markers and first created a few colored dots to kind of symbolize the flowers, and then colored everything in black while leaving out those dots. And once everything was dry, I decided to go over with a thicker fine liner because I felt like the Simpsons character still had a little bit thicker outline after all. And I also decided to make the hair more vibrant using a marker, because if you look at all the different Simpsons characters, you will see that all the colors are really vibrant and saturated. And this is me as a Simpsons character. Do we look alike? Yes, no, maybe? So the next character I'm turning myself into is a Powerpuff Girl. Here I sketched out the general shapes again, focusing on the big head with big round eyes and the small body. And then I went ahead and outlined the sketch with a thick fine liner. And now it's time to color everything. For the most part, I use markers again, because this way you can create a really flat, vibrant coloring, and this is one of the characteristics of the design. And the Powerpuff Girls outfit had the same color as their eyes, so everything turned kinda red and brown, but I think it still looks pretty cute. The tricky part was to create the skin tone. I used a light orange marker and then used a wet brush to kind of distribute it lightly to make it a really soft and flat color. And to make the eyes stand out more, I used watercolor paint and added the white dots. And this is me as a Powerpuff Girl. What name would you guys give my character? Comment down below. And we finally reached one of my favorite cartoons / anime, and that's Sailor Moon. If you guys didn't know, the name of my channel is actually partially from Sailor Moon. Sailor Jupiter, aka Makoto, was and is one of my favorite characters from Sailor Moon, so I kinda took her short name Mako and added the cappuccino part at the end to create makoccino. I used to draw Sailor Moon characters and just anime characters all the time because I was a huge fan, but I noticed that I'm totally out of practice here. I kind of struggled with the face shape and also the eyes because I had to draw everything so small. But besides that, I couldn't decide how I should do my hair, as all the Sailor Moon characters have these typical fringes, but I didn't want to really create it as I don't have a fringe. That's why I decided to find a middle way and made the middle part of the hair look similar, but other than that, I just drew the hair flat like here. And once I was happy with the general sketch, I used a really thin fine liner to outline everything, and then I removed the pencil lines. From here I painted my hair, eyes and the mouth using markers again. And since skin tones are always a tricky thing to paint, and because I didn't have a marker in a similar skin shade, I switched to watercolors again and created a mixture of a little bit of yellow, red and lots of water to create a very subtle skin tone of the Sailor Moon characters. And from here I just added a few shadows for the hair and the face, and my Sailor Moon character is finished. What do you guys think? And of course we also have the famous cartoon South Park. Their characters are inspired by the paper cutout cartoons that are composed of simple geometric shapes and primary colors, and they're also mostly presented two-dimensionally. So to turn myself into a South Park character, I focused on the round body shapes like the head, hands and the body that were designed in a simple round or oval shape. And of course we need the characteristic oval eyes that overlap each other a little bit and add the two dots. I think my head turned a little bit too big, but I think it's still okay. From here I colored everything using the same shade of color for my hair and patterns from my outfit that I painted the same way as for my Simpsons character, and just added these small feet that look like two small hills. South Park character don't really have a colored outline, that's why I only added super thin lines here and there like the eyes and the face, and my cute South Park character was finished. Ain't I cute? Last but not least, I also turned myself into a cute character from My Little Pony. I think this turned out to be one of my favorite characters I created so far because I really like how cute the pony turned out. Here again I sketched out the lines first and colored everything using markers. The difference in the outlines here was that the characters used a darker shade each time to create the outlines. So here for example I used an orange color to outline the yellow body and a brown color to outline the red hair. And to create the eyes, I used a black fine liner and a white ink pen to create the sparkly dots. What is your favorite character that I created here today, and what name would you give it? Let me know in the comments below, I would love to know. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up to support this channel, it will mean a lot to me. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and to turn notifications on by clicking on the bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video on Thursdays and on Saturdays. Thank you so much for watching guys, have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye!